Time for the schedule game. Fortunately for the Browns, they're losing in America. They don't have to go to Toronto to lose. But will they do more winning this year? Of course, last year they were 5-12. We are going to play the schedule game. Everybody plays it.
This is the wrong panel. We should have Earl or G or Tyvis or somebody a little bit more positive. I don't know where you fall
Chris
on him.
I think he's a little more optimistic than we are.
I'm a little more optimistic.
Yeah,
it doesn't take much, but I'm a little more optimistic.
We do need super optimistic like Tyvis, Earl, or is Earl here today?
Earl his daughter has prom tonight. So he's working from home, so he can help with all that.
Because I would say, let's bring him down here for this. But, okay, so we won't have Earl. We're going to play the schedule game, so let's start it up, guys. Here we go. All right, week 1, guys.
Is this a consensus, or do we each have our own?
No,
I'm going to keep track of all you guys.
Come up with our own records.
Yep.
Great.
All right, Browns open in Jacksonville. Little Shedeur Sanders, Trevor Lawrence match up in week 1. And we're going to assume health of all quarterbacks for the season. I say Shedeur Sanders. I don't know that.
I was a little surprised you said that.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, well, it's just because we think that he should be the starter week 1, but I don't know. I think he should be the starter week 1. I think it's going to be Deshaun Watson, so I don't know. But I guess you got to make your pick based on who you think is going to be the quarterback. I don't know if it makes much of a difference in certain games, but all right, Chris, start us off at Jacksonville week 1. What do you got?
I'm going to say a win in Jacksonville because week 1, some teams are slow starters. The Bengals, you very know well that.
Yep.
Jacksonville, I'm not 100% sold on them that they can do it in back-to-back years. I'm going to say they win in Jacksonville.
Jason.
What do you think?
That's an L for you.
That is an L. What are they, a touchdown dog?
Yeah.
I mean, if you were a Jaguars fan, are you scared about the Browns coming in week 1?
0%.
0%.
No. I first of all, I believe Deshaun Watson's going to be starting that game, which means Shedeur Sanders might be playing by Tampa, but
he might be playing by the second half of Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's true. I have no faith in Deshaun Watson playing well. I've said a million times on the show, if you think Deshaun Watson's the best quarterback, play him. And I do honestly believe that, even though it's probably pointless in the long run. But, and I've also said that if he can be the guy he once was, great. We'll figure it out at the end of the year. But in reality, I believe there's almost no chance of that happening. I would say less than a 1% chance. So I think he's going to probably be the starter and probably stink. So and something else that could be a factor, early September in Jacksonville, it's going to be hot probably. Yeah. That's an advantage for the Jags, at least a little bit.
Fun fact, Deshaun's first ever game in a Browns uniform?
Yes.
At Jacksonville in that preseason game.
Oh, yeah. What happened? I don't even remember.
He was nondescript, and they chanted awful, horrible things to him.
Okay.
So not much has changed.
No, that's true.
All right, so Chris has a win. You two got losses in week 1. What about at Tampa Bay?
Week 2, the Baker Mayfield matchup.
I'm going to say loss at Tampa because a motivated Baker is usually a pretty good Baker. Yeah. Though I am curious what this Tampa team is going to be now that they don't have Mike Evans, because when Mike Evans got hurt last year, all of a sudden, down the stretch, their offense really struggled. But between these first two weeks, I think the Browns get a win. I'm going to pick Jacksonville for week 1.
Okay.
But it wouldn't shock me if they play well in Tampa.
All right, 1-1 for Chris.
Loss.
A loss at Tampa.
Yeah, I think Baker will be motivated to play well. I think Stefanski not being the coach takes a little bit of the sting out of it for him.
Yeah.
A little bit the edge out of it. But, I mean, Tampa at home, I will take the Bucs.
Baker is he's a better quarterback the earlier in the season. Baker gets worse as the year goes along. That's not a good thing for a quarterback, but that's kind of Baker. I mean, he mostly plays well in September. He usually plays great in September. Then he's pretty good in October. Then he's not good in November, and then he stinks in December. That's his trend. So I'm going to say it's their home opener for Tampa. Baker motivated, as you said. Yep. The only time he's played against the Browns, he lost. They made that comeback, but they lost on the
Carolina. That's right. Yeah.
When the Browns kicked the field goal,
York.
I think the Browns start 0-2. All right. Speaking of Carolina, week 3, the home opener, week 3. Chris,
this is tough because I don't really know what the Panthers are going to be. I know they were better last year. Do you believe in them for doing it another year? I'm going to say I think they win that one because I don't know about Bryce Young. He's been all over the place. He was awful. He played better last year, better coaching, but I don't know what kind of weapons he's going to have that are any good. So I think they win that one.
Okay.
I'll give him a win. I'll give him a win at home. in their opener. Todd Monken's first game in Cleveland. Yeah, it's a home game. Carolina's not great. I'll take the Browns.
All right. So far, we're in lockstep here. I'm also taking the Browns. It'll be the home opener. The Browns in the last 3 years have been much better at home, especially on defense.
Yep.
We'll be all talking about they're 0-2, what a disaster, and just when we're ready to completely give up on anything good happening, they will bounce back and get a win against the Panthers. So there you go. So 1-2, 1-2, 2-1 for Chris. Week 4, quick turnaround, guys. Home game against the Steelers on Thursday night.
Because Pittsburgh has struggled coming here recently, I guess. And who's starting at quarterback? Is it Will Howard? Is it Drew Aller? Is it Aaron Rodgers?
I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers, but I'm not overly confident.
None of them are fantastic at this point. So Thursday night, those are always tricky. But at home, I'll give the Browns. I'm being the optimistic one.
Okay,
here.
3-1. Look at you.
The chat are big Chris Renko fans now. Just a heads up. Chris, you are winning bonus points and brownie points galore with the chat. Keep it up.
Love you, chat.
Okay.
Respect.
Go ahead, Jason.
The chat loves me as well, I hear.
Oh, yeah. You're very popular.
I will continue that by saying a loss to the Steelers.
Okay. All right, here's where you and I finally disagree. It's tough playing Thursday Night Football on the road.
Yep.
Teams Thursday Night Football on the road usually lose. And I think, without Mike Tomlin, I've probably said 3 times in the last 5 years that the Steelers are finally going to have a losing season. This is it. This is it without Tomlin. I actually think the Browns, even though I'm with you, I don't think they're very good, and I don't think they're going to be over 500. But I think they're going to be better than the Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to be awful this year because I'm not sure their offense is any better than the Browns, and I know their defense isn't as good. So I got the Browns winning this game and getting the 2-2.
Wow.
Shocking.
All right.
Getting to 500. All right, week number 3. At the Jets. First trip of 2 to the Meadowlands this year.
It's the Jets.
Jets. Jets lose?
I think the Jets lose. I think they do. I think the Browns win. Who did the Jets have at quarterback right now?
I think Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
So Chris has him off to a 4-1 start.
I mean, is Geno worse than what the Browns got? I don't know. Geno was awful.
Horrible. Yeah.
Awful.
I'll give the Browns a win.
Yeah.
They should have won last year in New York. They make up for it now. I say the Browns win.
Okay, here's what you guys both forgot. What team are we talking about?
I'm well aware.
This is the Cleveland Browns. See, after 2 weeks, it was like, ugh, what a bad start. And they gave us hope with Carolina. Then they beat the Steelers. G. Bush is talking about a 12-win season.
To you, they beat the Steelers. To me, they lose
That's
this year.
true. You're right. Tyvis is out here at 2-2 saying the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl. And what happens? They can't. The Browns can never handle prosperity. Because they'll be 2-2 and playing decent football, they'll be like a 1-point favorite at the Jets, and they will get smacked in the face and lose that game, a game they probably shouldn't lose.
You bring up a good point. They're due 1 or 2 of those.
Right? So there you go. So now, so you and I are the same at 2 and 3. Chris is at 4-1. Okay, we're going too slow for Mike, even though I'm having fun with this. What do we got to talk about next segment that's so important that we can't go slow?
We got some Guardians talk we got to get to, and then we'll wrap up with G. Bush's interview with Deion Sanders, which we got to mention too. So we don't have to fly by these, but we can't spend 7 minutes on 5 games.
All right, there we go. All right, week 6, Baltimore at home.
I always think that the Browns, because their recent track record says they're going to split or come close within the division, so I'll give them wins against the division at home and losses on the road, so they win against Baltimore at home.
All right.
This one is interesting to me because Monken obviously knows the personnel of Baltimore. Baltimore's got a first-year coach. Still a loss.
Yeah, I got to go loss in this one.
You gave us hope there, Jason.
Yeah, I got to go loss. It's still Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. I don't care who's coaching Lamar Jackson. He's still really good, and I think they're going to win the division, Baltimore, so I'm taking the Browns to lose that one. Week 7 at Tennessee, Chris.
Apparently, Vegas thinks very highly of the Tennessee Titans based on that line. I'm not sure Cam Ward's that good. I don't know who he's throwing to at this point. Their defense wasn't fantastic either. I think they could go on the road and they could beat the Titans, yes.
Jason. Remember, last year, Shedeur had a great game, but the Titans won. That was Shedor's best game.
Baffling interception he threw across his body
in
midfield.
Was terrible.
Yeah.
The rest of the game, he played really well.
This is a pick 'em to me. I'll say the Browns.
I'm going to say the Browns win that one also. They go to Tennessee. I think Tennessee's, along with Miami, are the two worst teams in football.
Yeah.
And then maybe the Jets and a couple other teams.
So where are we at? 3?
I'm at I think you and I have 3. Chris is 6-1.
Chris is 6-1. Wow. You and Jason are 3-4.
All right, at Pittsburgh, week 8.
It's been that way pretty much my whole life. They lose in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Again, I think the Steelers are going to stink, but they're at home against the Browns. They win. I can't give it a win there. All right, at New Orleans, week 9.
This is interesting because I don't know how much I believe in New Orleans yet. But going on the road, I'll say that's a game that they could win, but I think they lose on the road. Tyler Shuck, he was good down the stretch last year.
He's very good, yeah.
Yeah, that's a loss. It'll be a good game. I could see them winning
Close
that
game, they could, but
I'll take it as a loss.
I got a loss against New Orleans as well. Week 10, the Browns finally come home after 3 straight weeks on the road and play the Texans.
I think they close game again. I don't know how much I believe in C.J. Stroud, but I think Houston is going to be pretty good. That defensive front, really good.
All right.
Loss.
I got a loss too. So you and I think are at 3-7. Chris is at, does he have 6 wins or 7?
6-4.
6-4.
6-4, and then you and I are 3-7. All right, week 11.
It's a bye.
Week 11's a bye. Week 12.
I think they're going to win that one.
They will not lose.
Week 12, now that they had 3 straight road games earlier in the season, now they have 3 straight home games after the bye, so they go a month without going anywhere.
And a home game before. Houston is home, bye, then 3 straight. So it's 4 home games in a row with a bye.
Yeah.
In the middle.
So 5 weeks without going on the road, including a bye in between. Go ahead, Vegas.
They beat Vegas. I don't think the Raiders are very good.
Yeah, I'll take the Browns at home.
I got the Browns at home against Vegas, too. Cincinnati at home.
Cincinnati doesn't play well when they come up here for whatever reason, and having covered that team for 5 years, I'm not a big believer of a lot of guys on that team outside of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So I think the Browns beat the Bengals here.
Loss.
I got it as a loss, especially because it's later in the season. The Bengals always play better later in the season after bad starts.
Is Burrow going to be healthy? That's the other question.
That's the big question. If he's not, then it's a totally different game. Sure. And it's a very fair question to ask because he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But I decided with the exercise guys are going to be healthy.
Right.
So
you can't start
based on that,
injuries.
I got a loss. Atlanta at home.
Oh, boy.
Oh, the Stefanski Bowl.
Yeah.
Atlanta's quarterback situation is about as bad as the Browns. Who do they have?
Yeah.
So I think they win because it's at home. I think it's a pretty close game.
Jason.
I think it's a loss, and G. Bush is inconsolable.
Inconsolable. I'm against you here, Jason. I got them winning this game. Atlanta's got to come here in December.
Yeah.
Right? Or is that late November?
Yeah, no, it is. It's December.
It's December. I know they came here in December a couple of years ago and they won. But I don't think the Falcons are very good. I don't think the Browns are very good, but I think they're in the same neck of the woods. So I'll take the Browns at home in this one. What are the records now?
That game, by the way, is December 13th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Bull, you have 5 wins currently.
Yeah.
So 5 and what's that? They've played 14
8?
games minus a bye.
No, minus.
Yeah, 5 and 8.
No, there's 13 games because there was a bye. So 5 and 8.
5 and 8. Jason has them at 4 and 9, and Chris has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins.
9 and 4. Wow. All right, at the Giants, Week 15, back to the Meadowlands.
There are games that they should win, but they're not going to, and I could see them going to the Meadowlands after playing so many games at home. I think they lose to the Giants. Giants are intriguing. They got some young talent there.
They do.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Giants are a better team than the Browns, but the Browns give us faint hopes of a wild card spot with an upset win against the upstart Giants.
That wouldn't shock me. They're going to win a game along the way here that they have no business winning.
I think that's it. I don't think the Giants are that good, but I think they're better than the Browns. I like their quarterback situation better. I like Malik Neighbors. Obviously, he's expected to be ready for training camp. So I got them winning that game. So that's 6 wins for me. Still 9 for Chris and still 4 for Jason. All right, at Baltimore, Week 60.
Loss.
Yeah,
that's pretty simple.
Loss.
That's an L across the board. Week 17, Indianapolis at home.
I don't know how much I believe in the Colts. I know they played well last year. I know they were better last year. They completely fell apart without Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones going to be okay coming back?
Yeah.
Those Achilles tears we've seen take a little time to get back into the rhythm.
Yeah.
That's a toss-up for me, but I'll say for the sake of it, I think the Colts are at least in the hunt, and I think the Browns lose that one.
Ooh, Jason.
I'll give him a win.
Oh, it's the 5th win of the year for Jason against the Indianapolis. Now, here's my story. The Browns are now 6-8. No, they're 6-9.
6-9.
Heading into the game. And we talked that week about the fact that they're the last team on the in the hunt graphic because they're at 6-9. They're mathematically alive to get the last wild card at 8-9. And we're all and G. Bush and Tyvis and everybody are on the panel saying, Indy's not that good. The game's at home, and next week they got Cincinnati, and the Browns always play well against Cincinnati, which is not really true. They play. If you look at the last couple of years, the Bengals have won more than they've lost. But overall, in the Stefanski era, they did play well, and Baker. But the hopes get dashed. The Browns lose at home to Indianapolis to fall to 6-10.
So we have different routes to get there.
Yeah, but we both have them at 6-10.
Oh, I got him at 5, right? I got him 5.
No, you have them 5. You have 5. You
Jason's
have 5-11.
You're 6-10.
I'm 6-10.
Crystal is 9
Chris
wins at the moment.
is 9-6. Final week at Cincinnati.
No, 9-7.
No, he's 9-7.
9-7. Sorry.
Last game.
The last game in Cincinnati, who's got something to play for? All of that, obviously, we don't know. If the Bengals are already in the playoffs, you sit Joe Burrow.
Right.
If the Browns are already in the playoffs, you sit whatever. I'll give them, because I said I would split the division, I'll give them a loss in Cincinnati just because they always generally split the division.
Okay, so 9-8. I mean, honestly, if they were 9-8 this year, that'd be a pretty big
great
success.
Yeah.
Only
Chris
thing
did
that
have
would
them losing 4 straight, though. They were 9-4.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
They lost 5 straight to end the season.
Kind of like the Brian Hoyer year where they went to Johnny Manziel and it all fell apart. Go ahead, Jason. Last game.
Since I am so optimistic and rosy all the time, I'll give them a win because the Bengals sit everybody because they're getting ready for the playoffs and the Browns are not.
Okay.
And that gives them more wins than they had last year.
Which will be 6.
See how optimistic I am? They're going to win more games than they did last
I
year.
got a loss
There's
in the last
sunshine and
week.
rainbows coming out of your
Right?
ears right now.
Bengals trying to win the division, game back of Baltimore, and they don't, and the Bengals win it. So you and I both have them 6-11. Chris has them 9-8. There you go. I mean, we didn't pick them to win 3 games.
No.
And the thing about that schedule, like we said in the first hour on the app, there's a lot of those games that are toss-ups that they could win or lose, like 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Not likely maybe, but, I mean, shoot, it wouldn't be out of the realm.
I could see the argument more this year than last year for a potential 8-9 win season.
Yes, I agree with that.
I think it totally depends on who you think the quarterback's going to be and how good you think that guy's going to be. The rest of the team minus quarterback is definitely, including the offense, is definitely at least average, I think. You know, the defense is better. The offense, still minus quarterback, is below average. But I think the defense is enough minus quarterback to raise the rest of the offense to average or close to it. The question is the quarterback play. That's it.